Good day, everyone. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing very, very okay. Well, today I'm going to talk about spiritual warfare. Now, life itself is a battle. That's what you put at the back of your mind, either I believe it or not. Life is a battle. In fact, before you were conceived, you had to pass through a battle, and you won that battle. That is why you are here today. Scientifically, it was proven that during sex, every man releases 40 million sperm cells to the ovaries, and only one gets to fertilize the ovary, and that's you. You did it. Kudos. Now, everything that is happening physically has happened spiritually before. Nothing just happens like that. I remember in my secondary school days, I was taught in physics. I was taught Newton's law, the first, second, and third law. I remember clearly state that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That's to say that nothing happens on its own. Now, talking about spiritual warfare, there are weapons to use in fighting a spiritual warfare. Yeah, there are weapons, and one of the most important weapons used is the weapon of prayer. Prayer. A prayerful Christian is a powerful Christian. A prayerful Christian is a prayerful Christian. Now, prayer is an important weapon used in fighting spiritual warfare. Prayer simply is communication with God. Prayer is man giving God permission to interfere in earthly affairs. Tell me great men that ever lived in this world, especially the great men of Christianity. You notice that they were all powerful men in prayers. They were all prayerful men. Matthew chapter 18, verse 18, it says, let me read. It says, verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Now, one thing I learned from this scripture is that God needs man to absolutely perform his wonders. Now, looking back to the life of the servant of God in the Old Testament, Prophet Moses, when several signs and wonders were performed, God had to use him as a medium to perform all those signs and wonders. Was it the time that he divided the Red Sea? Was it the time that he hid the rock for water to splash out? Was it the time that he rained that manna from heaven? Was it the time that he sent locusts? Was it the time that he sent frogs? All those various occasions were done as signs and wonders with the medium Moses. Now, another weapon for fighting spiritual warfare is the weapon of sacrifice. Now, it is known that Israel never lose a battle because they are God's own children. But this time around in Second Kings chapter 3, verse 27, I think, let me read it. Okay, it says that then he took his firstborn son, that's the king of Moab, who was to succeed him a king, and offered him as a sacrifice on the city wall. The fury against Israel was great. They withdrew and returned to their own land. Power of sacrifice. Because the king sacrificed his firstborn son, it caused God to turn his back on the children of Israel. That's an abnormality. It wasn't normal. That's to tell you the extent to which your sacrifice can work when fighting a spiritual warfare. It was this same sacrifice that God used to test Abraham, and after Abraham succeeded in the test, that God unleashed his promise. When that was during the time of Isaac, when God told Abraham to sacrifice his son, and Abraham was willing to do it. Then God knew that Abraham was capable of being father of many nations. Another weapon fighting spiritual warfare is the weapon of the word. The weapon of the word. In the scripture it says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth. That's Matthew 4, verse 4, I guess, when the devil was tempting Jesus Christ himself. Now, imagine that Jesus Christ didn't have all those words. Imagine that Jesus Christ wasn't learned, didn't have that knowledge. It would have been possible that he would have lost or fallen into the temptation of the devil, but because he used the word, he succeeded. Word is very important. Knowledge is power. So in conclusion, in fighting spiritual warfare, there are many weapons that a Christian or a child of God will need to use in fighting spiritual warfare. The weapon of prayers, very important. The weapon of sacrifice, the weapon of the word, and many other weapons that I will reveal to you in the next classes. Thank you.